Hey there folks, Wrel here. Today I thought that I would share some tips on how to be a better sniper. Keep in mind that I'm not an amazing shot, but I have been getting a lot better lately, so if you're the type of player who is in the same boat as me, maybe these tips will help you speed up your progress. So first thing is first, sniping is not meant to be done from the spawn room. The role of an infiltrator with a sniper rifle is to force a shift in momentum by picking off enemies who are dug in, thereby allowing your allies to more easily advance. Now the way that you do this is primarily by flanking your enemy. If you are in the middle of a big battle, there are usually two main sides that are squaring off against one another. More importantly is that their attention is usually on the other faction, and they're not expecting to be attacked from the sides or from the back. So basically, you want to do that. You want to position yourself outside of the enemy's area of attention and pick off people who aren't looking your way. To do this, you can always grab a Wraith-equipped flash unit and then drive it behind or drive it through enemy firing lines, and then you set up shop in an ideal location. Ideal locations are ones where you have cover that you can crouch behind, so a small hill or a cliff ledge or a rock. Number two is a position where you aren't going to get flanked yourself, and a place where you can know where enemies are coming from at all times. Number three is preferably behind a choke point, and by a choke point, at least in this case, I'm not referring to a tunnel or a hallway or a valley of death. Instead, I'm referring to areas where enemies will slow themselves down because they think that they are safe. Usually, that's where your enemy snipers are trying to line up shots, or where your engineers are setting up turrets. Especially inexperienced players will just sit there and they'll let you land easy headshots all day long. And number four is that you should have a motion spotter equipped on your solo sniping builds. They last for a long time, and they're going to tell you exactly where enemies are coming from when they decide to come looking for you. When enemies get close enough to the motion spotter, they'll actually see it on their minimap, and that can be used to your advantage as you can lure them in for a kill. So that's all about your ideal location, your setup. But when it comes to the moment-to-moment gameplay, here are some things worth pointing out. Stay cloaked and crouched when lining up a shot. When the target is lined up, you can uncloak, fire, cloak, and then you move. That last part is the most important. Too many infiltrators will stand in the exact same spot when they're trying to snipe, and this means that even if you decide to cloak again, I probably still know where your head is, meaning that even though you're invisible, I'm still going to kill you. So you always want to move, you always want to adjust your position, and if enemies really start paying attention to you, then it might be time to relocate altogether. You should be going for headshots whenever they're easy. For most sniper rifles at most ranges, headshots are going to come by just aiming slightly above the target's head, but this will come down to how well you know your weapon's projectile velocity and the weapon's projectile drop. If you don't land a headshot, you should immediately do a follow-up shot the moment the weapon rechambers. Depending on the skill level of the player and the speed of your rifle's rechamber, this could mean a couple different things. Either you want to fire immediately at the last place that you just fired so that you can drop your target before they get a chance to realize what's going on, or you aim for where the target will be, which is usually in a path toward the nearest piece of cover that they can find. When it comes to prioritizing targets, you want to do so in terms of the easiest shots to the most difficult shots. Now the easiest shot is against a standing target who isn't paying attention. The second easiest shot is against a target who is running in a straight line toward you. A bit more difficult is a shot against a target who is running in a straight line horizontally. And the most difficult shot would be against a target who is constantly moving left and right, or zigzagging. Now these players may know that you're there shooting at them, or they may just do it out of habit, but either way, those players are also the type of players that are going to find cover or react to taking damage the moment that they receive it. When it comes to prioritizing classes, you want to go for infiltrators first, then you go for medics second, with heavy assaults and max units last on the list. Infiltrators have the lowest amount of health and are usually staying still while trying to line up a shot. Also, they are the biggest threats to ruining your killing spree. Medics need to be taken out as more of a team play thing because medics revive people, and the longer you can postpone enemy revives, the more likely your allies are to tip the scales. Also, a lot of medics tend to hold position when reviving allies, which makes them easier targets. Heavy assaults you don't want to prioritize because they have an overshield, and max units you don't want to prioritize because they just have a lot of health. The last piece of advice that I would like to offer is just to use your weapon a lot. Over greater ranges, judging bullet drop, projectile speed, and how enemies are going to react based on your rechamber time, that is all something that you'll learn with practice. Don't discard a weapon just because it's not working for you right now, because it may later on down the line. Regardless of which weapon you're using though, if it's a bolt action, get your straight pull bolt or super cooled coil attachment. It's called different things depending on the faction, but that attachment will let you rechamber your weapon while looking down the scope. And this is really helpful with target acquisition and follow-up shots, and it has no downsides to speak of. For implants, you can go with either hold breath or enhanced targeting. Enhanced targeting is good for picking off weakened targets, whereas hold breath is good for dropping multiple targets and giving you a little bit more time to adjust your aim. I don't feel proficient enough yet to offer solid advice on which weapons will suit your playstyle best, but Mustarde has a good blog post that breaks them all down. I've linked that in the video description along with some other resources regarding sniper play. If this video has been interesting, helpful, or entertaining, please feel free to like, subscribe, tell your friends about the channel, and if you have any tips to offer up for how to snipe better, or just become a better sniper in general, you can leave those in the comments section down below. Thanks very much, folks. Wrel signing off.
Infiltrator spotted.